And with the impeachment trial unlikely that is, to lead to a conviction, Democrats may have a plan B to try to keep former President Trump from running for office again. It's an obscure part of the Constitution that hasn't been used in a long time. It is the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, and it's not an easy process to get there. Fox 10's Bailey Miller joins us live now to explain more on that tonight. Bailey.
Hey, Mark. Yeah, the 14th Amendment was actually created just after the Civil War. It was a way to actually bar anyone that was working in the Confederacy or a part of the Confederacy from running for office or working for the U.S. government. But it does take quite a few steps to be able to actually use it properly, and in this case, using it against President Trump. The impeachment trial for President Trump is underway, but because of the uncertainty of where this could lead, Congress is looking at the other option to figure out how to ensure President Trump would not run again for office.
If Trump is impeached, and he has to be impeached by a 2/3 vote, Congress could then take a vote by a simple majority to bar him from running for office again. That is one of the remedies of impeachment.
According to Dan Barr, a constitutional lawyer in Phoenix, he says if that option doesn't work, there is the 14th Amendment, which states that anyone who was serving the U.S. or took an oath and took part in an insurrection or a rebellion, they could be removed and barred from office. This was all created just after the Civil War.
There are a lot of people getting excited about the language of the 14th Amendment, going, oh, well, this would apply to Trump and he could be barred from running for office. But there's no statute in place right now declaring that he aided and abetted an insurrection against the United States.
But in Section 5 of that 14th Amendment, Barr says it states that there must be a statute in place, first declaring that a person or group of people aided and abetted an insurrection before that could be passed.
Now, the 14th Amendment is not self-executing. Congress would have to pass a statute declaring that Donald Trump had aided and abetted an insurrection against the United States. Trump would then get to challenge that determination in court if he wanted to.
Now, in other words, Barr says in this hypothetical situation, it would be easier to convict Trump in the Senate and take up that option to bar him with a vote from Congress rather than use that 14th Amendment. Reporting live, I'm Bailey Miller, Fox 10 News.